Your move, your move.
What's up guys, it's Rogue here and welcome to yet another amazing video on the channel. So for today, as you can see by the title, we have a OTS 23 prediction. Now we just had the release of the 2023 Megatins, which has reprinted a lot of cards, and instead of the usual ban list discussion, which I'm sure a lot of people are doing at the moment, I think it's actually worth having a look at the next OTS pack and what potentially could be in there. Also, if you do enjoy this type of content, make sure that you do leave a like and subscribe down below. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, which I'm hoping to hit before the end of the year. And of course, leave a comment down below. Do you agree with what I've said, or do you have any other suggestions that could potentially be seen in the next OTS pack? But without any further ado, let's get straight into the predictions. OTS 23 predictions. We have enemy controller already as an ultimate that has been announced by Konami, meaning one of the three is already confirmed, which sort of helps us a little bit. I think this is the typical curveball that Konami like to throw. We've seen this in previous OCSs where they like to give an older card an ultimate rare printing. We saw this with Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherry. Wasn't seeing play, used to see play, they threw it in. Skill Drain, I guess you can say as well, although that was more ban list related, but again, it fit the criteria of an old card that used to see play. It had a boost from the ban list going to 3, so they chucked it in. And I think Enemy Controller serves a decent job in being an older card that people can relate to, and also a card that can see some decent meta play in terms of it has its uses. People were experimenting with it a few formats ago, especially when Kashtira just became a thing. Enemy Controller was seeing experimentation. I think Book of Moon, as you guys know, all the books are by far the better tech option, but Enemy Controller did see some sort of experimentation. So where does that leave us with the other two ultimates? Now, looking back at the previous OTS packs, there is a little pattern I have seen emerging. This could be completely just based on luck, or maybe there is a pattern to this, but this is what I have realized. If we look back at OTS 19, long time ago now, but in OTS 19, the ultimates were Fallen of Albaz, Water Enchantress, and of course Skill Drain. Now I think Skill Drain and Water Enchantress I would consider not part of an archetype in terms of a deck that's seeing play at the moment, whereas Fallen of Albaz definitely wasn't branded. You may say Water Enchantress was seeing play, but I think the adventure package was more of an engine than an actual deck on itself. So if we look at OTS 20, we have Ghost Reaper, Sky Striker Ace Ray, and Aluba. If you see me looking down, it's because I have them written down, because it was quite a long time ago. And that is two cards that we're seeing sort of play in the decks at the time. Sky Striker Ray, Sky Strikers weren't really seeing that much play, but it's sort of understandable with all the Sky Striker support that we got, and with Engage, it is sort of understandable. And Aluba, of course, is again for branded. OTS Pack 21 now, we have 3 cards that all belong to decks. We had Sprite Blue, Tillamant's Rhinoheart, and Kashtira Fenrir. So all those 3 belong to decks that we're currently seeing play in the meta. And if we look at OTS 22, it's gone back down to 2. So it's gone 1, 2, 3, and now back to 2. Meaning, OTS 23, if it follows this pattern, will only have 1 card that belongs to a deck that is seeing play at the moment. Now that may be just speculation, or maybe I'm onto something here, but that is why I think that OTS 23 will only have 1 ultimate rare belonging to a archetype in terms of a deck that is seeing play. Now, what does this mean? I think that for the second ulti, we are going to be looking at a card that has seen a lot of play recently, but doesn't necessarily belong to a certain deck. Now, cards come to mind, and what you can maybe see by the thumbnail is we have Dimension Shifter and Dimensional Barrier. Now, why do I think these cards in particular deserve ultimate prints? Well, there's a lot of speculation that they're going to get hit on the ban list. So, of course, if they get hit in the ban list, this throws this idea completely out of the window and they will not be getting ultimate rare prints. However, these cards are incredibly popular, guys, and these cards are getting old, especially Dimensional Barrier. I think it was from Invasion of Vengeance. That set is a long time ago, and Dimensional Shifter as well is from the 2019 Megatin, so a few years ago now. And both these cards are both incredibly used, especially in the side deck. So an ultimate rare printing would be incredible for them. No, it's not going to set up the world alight, but I do think this is something Konami can do. You know, instead of hitting them on the ban list, you can give those cards the ultimate print that they deserve, because let's face it, for side deck cards, they do deserve it. Dimensional Shifter is an insane card. I know it's some people see it as degenerate, but it's also a hand trap, and they do like printing hand traps in Ultimate Rare. We've seen this with Ghost Reaper. And of course, we also have Dimensional Barrier, which is a trap card, which I haven't done in a while since Skill Drain. So I think that these two could potentially be the second slot. I don't think they're both going to be in it. Only one of them will be in it. I think this is a toss-up. I know I'm giving you loads of options here, but I really do think that it could be Dimensional Shifter or Dimensional Barrier, just based on the side deck usage and how impactful these cards actually are in the meta. Now, for the third choice in the Ultimate Rare spot, I do think that this card will belong to a deck, and a deck that has been doing relatively well recently. So this leaves us with a few potential options. This leaves us with, of course, Kashtira, but I don't think Kashtira will get one, because I do think Kashtira will be hit on the list. We also have Pearly, but Pearly already have quite a few high rarity cards in terms of the collector rares, and a few supers that I will be talking about later on in the video that are already included in these predictions. We also have Unchained. Unchained is a big one because Unchained has been winning a lot of events recently, especially in Brazil. But then again, I don't think they will be printing a Unchained Ultimate Rare. It just doesn't sit right. I know that they have a Starlight, but the deck itself has a lot of lower rarity cards in terms of rares and supers and stuff like that. So I don't actually think that an Ultimate Rare will be suitable for that deck. But also, we have Rescue Ace. Now, Rescue Ace is the deck that in the next set, which is Age of Overlord, is actually gonna see a massive power bump. And this is why I think that the third Ultimate Rare could potentially be Rescue Ace Airlifter. Now, hear me out. I know it's a random shout, especially if you don't know what Unchained do, but Unchained are a deck that's received a massive power boost in the set Duelist Nexus. Now, I had to look to the left because I forgot what the set was called, but Duelist Nexus is where the Rescue Ace got their two brand new cards, and it has really taken them into the next level. And if we look at Age of Overlord, there's a new engine called the Dias Bellstar, I think is how you pronounce the engine, which is going to take Rescue Ace to that next level again. So I think that Konami know this. Of course they do. They're looking at the OCG. If you look at OCG, Rescue Ace are the deck to beat, the tier 1 deck, and of course they play this brand new engine. So in order to sort of get hype around that, I do think that the next Ultimate Rare and the last Ultimate Rare will be Rescue Ace Airlifter. Moving on to the supers, this is a bit more difficult to predict, but of course there will be a few that I will try. There are 10 super rares including an OTS pack, so I'll try and mention as many as I think could happen. Starting off with Rescue Ace, so picking up where we left off with the Ultimate Rare, I think the super rares in this OTS pack will be Rescue Ace Preventer and Rescue Ace Emergency, or just Emergency, but it's always considered a Rescue Ace card. So I think these cards are incredible cards for the archetype, and they came in common, guys. So I think a super rare bump is needed. We've seen this happen with Pearly. Pearly in OTS pack 21 did get a Pearly Happy Memory super upgrade because that card is just incredible. And also, we also saw a Pearly Happy of the XCs in OTS 22. I could have got these the wrong way around, but Pearly have gotten two super upgrades. I think Rescue Ace are going to get 2 in 1 here. I think they're going to get the Emergency and Rescue Ace Preventer upgrades because, again, as I said, the deck is only going to keep getting better, and it is doing very well in tournaments and in the OCG at the moment. I know the OCG doesn't have an impact as such in our OTS packs, but looking at the OCG and looking at the potential of Rescue Ace, it is definitely there. So I think Konami are going to be giving Emergency and Rescue Preventer the hollow upgrades that they do deserve. Now, a more nailed on prediction, I think this is kind of easy to predict. I'm going to predict Pearly Sleepy Memory for the super upgrade. I think Pearly's an incredible deck as well, and I think it's one of the only few commons they have left. So I think Sleepy Memory is definitely going to get the super rare bump. But you play it at 3, it's the one that draws them all the cards. It's, you know, you can argue it's one of the more powerful ones because they'll be drawing into hand traps and then hand trapping you and stuff like that. So I think Pearly Sleepy Memory is a guaranteed upgrade, especially with the release of the new Noir monster. So I think that is just a no, it's not really a gamble. It's just no doubt it's going to come out. You can also say that about the Pearly Yeep. I think Pearly Yeep may be included here. Again, it's a card that Pearly sort of thrive on, the ability to, rank themselves up into the Ex-Pearly Noir. So I think it comes in rare or common. So I think the super upgrade will do them a world of good, and it will help those max rarity Pearly players, help them out essentially and keep making their deck even more shiny. Now, of course, I already mentioned Unchained, but I do think that they do deserve a upgrade. I think that there could be a few, not only commons reprinted in the deck to make the deck a bit more affordable, but also super upgrades. I think that Rescue Ace Rakia could get a super upgrade. I think it's only a rare at the moment. I also think there could be a few other cards in common. I think I think Unchained Twin Aruha as well could get a super print. That has a Starlight print, but of course it's between a rare and a common, and then the Starlight is also, really out of people's price range usually. So I think a super of both of those. If I had to pick one, I would pick Rakia, because Aruha already has the Starlight print, but I do think there will be some Unchained reprints in this OTS pack, and an upgrade given to Rakia. Speaking of Unchained, I also think that their trap cards definitely do deserve a super rare print. Unchained has been performing fantastically, as I've said, and I think that their trap cards only come in common, and you usually play 2 to 3 of each trap card because they're the ones that can special from the deck. So I definitely think that Unchained should get their trap cards boosted in rarity, or if not their trap cards, they should get the brand new cards from Duelist Nexus, which is the brand new Unchained main deck monsters. They both came in common, and I think that they also deserve a super rare print, especially the red one. Forgive me, I don't know the name. I think it's Shyama, something like that. I think they definitely, like Rescue Ace, they're commons that came out in Duelist Nexus, and they're incredibly powerful, and I think that they deserve the super rare print. Looking at a more sort of out there super prediction, I do think that if they were ever going to give this card a super print, now is the time. Of course, we did get a brand new Monarch card recently. It's not very good, but it is Monarch support. So I think giving Tenacity of the Monarchs that super rare print would be absolutely incredible. It's a rare. It comes from Mega Pack 15, so almost 10 years ago now. I think a super rare print of that card will look absolutely beautiful. That or March of the Monarchs, I think, should get the super rare bump, just to sort of get rid of some of their lower rarity cards and show the deck a bit more love. It did get the new card, so maybe this is a good prediction. Also, it could be a bit out there. Maybe it's hope on my end that I do have a Monarch deck, but I do think that Monarch's Tenacity of the Monarchs, especially as a rare, could really do some good as a super rare. Or if anything, March of the Monarchs that only comes in common, even though it's been printed several times now. I think a super rare print of that wouldn't do the deck that bad. And of course, Monarchs have been in previous OTS packs. We have seen the Field Spell get a super print. I believe in the very first OTS pack there was Kuraz as well. So Monarchs aren't new to the OTS packs, and I think Konami could reintroduce them again into the OTS structure. Now, there are a few more super rares to predict. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to predict all of them, but I think an amazing shout. And since it has just been reprinted in the Mega Tins and also seen some reprints before that, we have the Adventurer Engine and in turn, the Adventurer Token. We're finally going to get the Adventurer Token, and I feel like OTS Pack 23 is where it's going to happen. If you don't know, OTS packs usually bring a token as one of the supers, because that's how they, cram in the tokens from cards that have token effects. And I think the Adventurer token is finally going to come in at OTS 23, because we haven't ever had a Adventurer token available to us in the TCG. I know they have one in the OCG, and I think this is the time, with the reprint of Adventurer finally being affordable in the Megatins, that they're going to give us the Adventurer token. Now that is sort of the predictions, and now this is more of a wish list. Cards that I would like to see reprinted in OTS in either common or super. We have Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. This card is an incredible card from a very long time ago. It was from Salad format. I think it was one of the first cards ever hit £100 plus for a staple that you needed 3 of, which was insane. Nowadays, I think the secret is around £15, so nowhere near as expensive. But I think that with Unchained picking up in popularity in decks like Rescue Ace that do like linking, Phantasme is going to be a great pick this format, and I think giving a super or even a common would be incredible, but I don't think they'll give it a common. A super rare print will be very much appreciated for the budget players. I also think cards like Herald of the Abyss and Xyz Encore are both cards that deserve, to be reprinted, because they are great answers to Pearly, and they are a bit expensive at the moment, especially the XC's Encore. I think they're around £15 a copy, which isn't great considering there's only 2 prints and they're both, you know, ultra rare. And we also have Herald of the Abyss, which was in the mega tins of previous years in a super and ultra rare. So I hope that these cards get a common print to sort of reduce the ceiling again of those cards in price and help these budget players combat Pearly, and we don't only need to rely on kaijus. But that is pretty much the end of this prediction video. I hope you guys did enjoy this sort of new type of video that I'm doing. I haven't ever done an OTS prediction video, but make sure that you do come back when OTS 23 does arrive very, very soon. I think it's in the next month or two, and come back and tell me how correct I was, how wrong I was, or that you told me so when you leave your comments saying what cards you think are going to be in OTS Pack 23. But I'm Rogue to here. I thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.
It's time! Let's go!